Hello, I'm Super Orange Cat, and here's the Toonami news update for January 3rd, 2021. Now, one thing to note is that we had Toonami ratings from December 19th, 2020 finally come out. I did briefly mention them in a news update I did a bit earlier, but those weren't complete ratings, so here are the complete ratings. At midnight, Wonder Woman Bloodlines pulled in a .23, and at 1:45, Justice League The New Frontier pulled in a .18. Overall, these ratings really were better than I thought they would be. And I mentioned that at the time because they did have the Wonder Woman number out at .23, but I really did not think that it would get that high. And this week, the December 19th week, was pretty infamous, as a lot of people complained about it at the time because it was sprung up on us like a barely more than a week beforehand. We thought we were going to get like a normal standard schedule on this date, and because of this, you had a lot of episodes get pushed back. And no, the weekend after this was the Christmas marathon of Cowboy Bebop, so a lot of people were like, well, then we're going to have to wait another week after that before we get our new episodes, which aired last night. Finally, January 2nd was a normal schedule night for Toonami. And again, and I thought a lot of people would just tune out. They're like, well, I don't, we've had like 4 or 5 different movie nights this year. I'm getting a bit tired of it. But that appears to not be the case here. And we saw this back in September with the Batman movie marathons that we had, where both weekends we got pretty solid numbers for the Batman movies. And another topic that was well discussed as a result of this is the concept of corporate synergy, a topic that has been prevalent throughout the year and actually made it on my list as the second worst thing to happen to Toonami in 2020. But that's one weird thing about the corporate synergy. It kind of helped Toonami. As in, like, look at these ratings. These ratings are pretty good. You have something pulling a .18 at 145. In a normal week, someone at 145, we're probably at like a .13, .14 territory. We're outdoing ourselves here. And Batman movie weekends, those got great ratings. That was to promote the whatever DC Fan Expo online event at the time. And these movies here were to promote HBO Max. And I guess a lot of people just still tuned in. And that's one interesting thing of note here, because this, like I said, it's not even a secret in any way that this 2020 was not a good year overall for Toonami. Like, you had not that many shows added onto the block. The ones that were older titles. I think we only got like one continuation happen this past year. We had blocks shorten, and we've had it become a very open secret that Toonami was very low on cash. It invested so much on the Toonami originals that will ideally be coming out this year, which honestly at this point I'm still a little doubtful we will get all 3 of them this year. I personally think Blade Runner, the Black Lotus, we're probably getting in 2022. Maybe even Uzumaki gets pushed back another year. But at the same time here, and again, back to the main topic at hand, you have this corporate synergy, but I mean, when you have these weekends still get good ratings like this, you are gonna have more of them, because it has shown to work. And like, you have like corporates at Warner Media, they see these ratings, they can compare week to week, they know that these ratings are pretty good. So what's going to happen is, if there's something else you need to promote for, say, HBO Max or whatever project they have at the time, they might borrow Toonami for a weekend to air something related to it to get people interested in it. And since it's been proven to be a decent market strategy here, they're going to keep doing it. So that's one prediction I'm going to make for 2021. Do not be surprised if we get more weekends like this where we get like 2 movies that are like vaguely related to something. And for this week specifically, it was to promote Wonder Woman 1984, which has been shown to be a box office flop already. So that's a nice little history nugget we're going to have in a few years. If you're like, hi, if you're in 2023, 2024 watching this here, yeah, we had a weekend to promote Wonder Woman 1984. And I'm certain just hearing this is going to make you laugh. But here in 2021, in the very real year of 2021, not many people are laughing. Like, it's a strategy that worked to get eyeballs on the screen for Toonami, but not necessarily worked to get eyeballs on the screen for Wonder Woman 1984. So again, and that's just, and you can talk about, well, the movie industry is dying. Well, over in Japan, you had Demon Slayer just break the record, you know. And if you told me 2 years, like a year or two ago, when Demon Slayer was first starting up, it's like, oh, by the way, the movie that sprung from this franchise is gonna pass Spirited Away in Japan. I would have thought you were high on crack, and I mean, I might have been, but you know, and again, but at the same time, that just really shows just the interesting state Warner Media is in. It's an open secret too. Warner Media is losing money, and I don't mean like, well, because of 2020, it's been losing money for a long time. Look, and I used to live in like Atlanta media area, and it seemingly like every month there would have been a new news story about like Turner has to lay off 500 more employees as they struggle to meet demands. Because if you know anything about Adult Swim, if you know about Turner, it's headquartered in Atlanta. I used to drive down the highway 7585 each day way back when, where one side of the highway would be like the Adult Swim house. If you've seen some of the idents, so it'd show like the window and it's like the neon dollar sign and stuff. That's the Adult Swim area. The across it on the other side of the highway, it was the main studios, not really main studios, main offices for Turner, you know, which is a nice, interesting nugget. And yeah, you know, I used to see that all that often, and I suppose their issues still continued, you know. But again, I'm getting a bit far off subject. This is a Toonami news update, and I'm talking about how bad of a company Turner is, which is a blatant fact. Turner, AT&T, Time Warner, Warner Media, whatever they're calling themselves these days, they keep losing money, and not having March Madness this year, which is like the big sports cash cow, really made it even worse. And that's what the first theory was about Toonami's money issues, is that they were getting money diverted from March Madness. Since if you watch TV, you know that quite a few of the games are on TBS, they're on TNT, they're on True TV, which are networks on the Turner umbrella, and they really rely on those ratings or on the advertising revenue to fund their budgets for the entire year. And we didn't have that this past year, so they didn't have as much to budget, which is part of the reason why we didn't get that many of the relatively newer shows. That's why we didn't get Tower of God. That's why we didn't get God of High School. Shows that a lot of people talked about that were apparently available, but we didn't get. But apparently, we had enough money to get the Tower of God producer to come in and make a Rick and Morty short. And that was another interesting. That was another like honorable mention for the worst things in Toonami in 2020. And that did come out of the Toonami budget, by the way. You spend so much money on a Rick and Morty short, a show that doesn't need the advertising, instead of putting it to your other shows, you know. And again, that's just, I mean, that's part of the reason why Turner sucks. They keep wasting their money in the weirdest of ways like that. But I digress. This is getting too much into a rant about Turner, which is long overdue, by the way. Turner's a horribly run company. But again, these really there's not much other news to report on. It's been pretty silent recently on the Toonami news front. Not much has happened. One little tidbit is that maybe in the next few days we get more ratings for this past weekend, but since we're this close from like New Year's, a lot of ratings reporting agencies are slower, which is why my ratings videos haven't been regulars, because I haven't been getting regular ratings here, you know. And I digress, yeah, you know. And again, other interesting tidbit, we have a new schedule coming out for this next Saturday, which includes Attack on Titan Season 4 coming to the block, and I believe it'll be on Funimation Now next day, confirming my theory before that it's being pushed on Toonami quicker because of a deal that they actually have, which stated that Toonami actually has to air it before it airs on Funimation, which is interesting because it's the exact opposite of the deal they had for My Hero Academia, where it had to be on Funimation Now before it got on Toonami. But again, this video has been carrying on about one subject too long, so I might as well end it here. What do you guys think? What's your thoughts on these ratings? What's your thought on this whole HBO Max owning Toonami for weekends at a time experiment that unfortunately appears to be working to some degree? What's your opinion on that? Leave your comments down below. Love reading them. If you like this content, if you want more Toonami content like this, please like, please comment, and subscribe. I am the Super Orange Cat, and that is all.